Welcome to Mommispace, the podcast for moms of all stages. My name is Aubree Cutz, and this podcast was created to give moms a voice to share their experiences and to share that there is not just one way to be a mom. This is a place where you can learn to love the woman inside the mother. Welcome back to Mommispace. This is Aubree Cutz, and today I am here interviewing my mother-in-law, Maria Cutz, and I'm very excited to just hear a little bit about just some of her thoughts about family tradition. Being married to her son, I've been able to just learn a lot about his childhood and things that he got to experience with his family. So I thought it would be fun to chat with her. So I call her Mama, but Mama, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So first, before I dive into some of my questions for you, I'd love if, as much as you'd like to share, if you could talk about just your journey into motherhood. Like, what was it like for you becoming a mother? How many children do you have? How old are they now? Just kind of what that has been like.
That's kind of hard for me just because I didn't want to be a mom because just growing up was hard. Yeah. But I wasn't sure what to feel when my son was born. He was very special and it was beautiful, but just wasn't sure what kind of mom I would be. But God was good, and he blessed me with two beautiful boys. Had a lot of fun. I was very happy to have boys. I don't think I would have done so good if I had girls.
I don't know if that's true. I think you would have been fine.
Well, I think God knew that's why he didn't give me a girl. And like when people would say, "Oh, you need a girl," I'm like, "No, thank you.
I'm good."
Yeah. Yeah. Was always a tomboy. Just, I just liked boy stuff better. Wasn't always a foo-foo or, touchy-feely. So, so that's why I think I was afraid of. Even now, I don't feel that I'm as nurturing or, I don't know. I just see like moms with their girls, and sometimes I'm even, that's a little much. A little too foo-foo or too emotional. I mean, I guess just because I'm a woman, I'm emotional, and it bothers me. I don't like being emotional.
I don't want to be. Yeah.
No. It just really has been just a beautiful journey. I love my boys, and I really love my daughters now. They're sweet, but I'm glad I don't have to be too touchy-feely. They have their own moms for that.
Yeah. Well, I feel like as a mother-in-law, I'm really thankful that you're my mother-in-law, and I think you're the perfect amount of touchy-feely and girly, and you still like girly things, and I think it's good.
Okay.
I told Alexis the other day, I'm like, if we have any more kids, I think I just want another boy, because I think I'm more of a boy mom than a girl mom, and it's fun having one girl to get to spoil. But so now your boys are grown, obviously, and have families of their own. But I'd love to eventually in a few minutes hear a little bit more about what it was like when they were kids. But before getting to that, just even thinking about parts of your childhood, as much as you would like to share, what are some of your own childhood family traditions or things that your family did? I know you had a lot of sisters growing up, so what were some things in your family that you did for the holidays or for Christmas that you can remember?
I think for us it was kind of, my mom tried to make it, as like her traditions as much as she could. We didn't have a lot of close family here, so we, as far as like her sisters, my dad's sisters, so aunts, uncles, cousins. Yeah. The only family that we had that was closest was my mom's cousin, and then her kids. So we would my mom would try to get together with them. Our tradition was, everybody got together to make tamales the day before.
Yeah.
So that we would have tamales for Christmas. And so for us kids, it was just like having a bunch of kids around, other kids running around, and just getting excited and waiting for the presents that night. And of course, we didn't do Christmas presents until like midnight, if everybody was able to stay up, which most of the kids always, we made every effort to try to stay up. And a lot of eating, enjoyed that. The thing that I think for me that I now stands out is that, with the Mexican culture, we didn't have as many sweets as I see that, with the American culture.
Yeah.
You have like fudge and cookies and, all this stuff. And, and I don't remember that, you know. Or maybe just because I've never been into sweets that I don't, maybe I just didn't partake.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you don't remember like specific candies or pastries or anything?
No, they, we make sweet tamales too, the pineapple with coconut and, cinnamon and raisin, which I don't care for the raisins. The pineapple coconut was always my favorite.
Yeah.
And I think the best treat for me was always champurrado. That
and
was
for those listening that aren't familiar with what that is, can you say what that is? So
champurrado is like a hot drink, and would be like a hot chocolate, but not really. It has very little chocolate in it. It's a chocolate bar that we most Mexicans know as chocolate Abuelita. So it's like ground cocoa, some sugar, and cinnamon. And so then they melt that with milk, and then you add masa, which is like ground corn, the same that you use for tortillas.
Yeah.
And so it has a little bit of that, and piloncillo is like a brown sugar type thing. And so then it's a little thick. I know a lot of people don't care for it because it is thick. Mm-hmm. It thickens with the masa.
Yeah.
But it's a traditional drink that you have for Christmas.
Yeah.
And so that was my favorite. That's still my favorite. One of my favorite things to have at Christmas.
I really like that drink, and I've never made it, but I remember a few years ago we went actually to the Mission Inn to see the lights, and there was like a little taco shop that made it, and they were like selling it for $1 or something. Mm-hmm. And so that was the first time I remember trying it, and I was like, "Oh, this is so good." Yeah. But maybe you can teach me how to make it this year.
Yeah, for sure. It's easy.
Yeah. That's cool. I like hearing about the different traditions. And when I talked to my mom, it was cool for her to share about even just some things culturally that are more Dutch that her family did growing up. So it's cool to like hear the comparison and like the differences in that. Mm-hmm. So my next question for you is, how did you decide traditions that you wanted to bring into your own family when you guys had the boys, when you were like raising the boys?
Well, when they were real little, we still, we kind of always just went to my mom's and we did the thing there. We didn't do anything special or different at first because I just didn't think about that. Yeah. But so when the boys were, I think, 5 and 7 maybe, that's when we came to Christ at that time. And so just learning about the birth of Christ and the meaning and just the biblical, part of that, not just, Christmas like everybody, just does. And so we wanted to do things different. Yeah. And just in thinking about that through that year and learning from other ladies in the church, like what they did, and listening to radio shows of like how different people did different things and whatever. Mm-hmm. So then what we decided, and we started to do that we could still celebrate. We still would go to my mom's on Christmas Eve and do that. But then we would now celebrate Christmas mornings. And so I would make some kind of Christmas casserole, and we would have hot chocolate. I'm not a hot chocolate, so I'd have coffee for sure always. But the boys really like that. So we'd get up and Dad and I would fix coffee and hot chocolate. And the first thing we would do is we would sit down and read the Christmas story as they drink their hot chocolate. And then we'd talk about that and what that meant and what the true meaning of Christmas is. Yeah. And then we'd pray. And then they could open their presents. Yeah. And so we'd open presents. And so that was one of the things, too, that was important to us, is that they would know that, you know, the most important thing was Jesus and not the presents. Yeah. And so we, it was kind of hard weaning my family away from that. They would kind of, you know, get upset because they would all, we get to the point, you know, because of the grandkids, my mom's all like, no, they can't stay up until midnight. So they would start opening presents earlier in the night on Christmas Eve. And so then as time went by, it got, you know, like earlier and earlier and earlier. And then now it was like more about just the presents. And so for us, we started to say, okay, you know, they can open your present, one present, and then that's it. Because Christmas is not about the presents, and they have to wait until the next day. Yeah. You know, because we didn't want them to focus on the gifts. We wanted them to focus on what Christmas is really about. Yeah. So.
I like that. And it's cool to hear, like you said, like the shift of when you became followers of Jesus. Like, you're like, oh, now Christmas morning we can celebrate the birth of Christ. And even culturally, like, and I had learned that before, that like in Mexican families, it's like Christmas Eve's the big thing, and then midnight you open presents, and that's kind of it, you know, like, but having this new aspect of like, no, Christmas morning we can like wake up and read the story of Jesus' birth, and then get to open gifts. But like you said, that's not the main focus. It was really cool. So that's cool to hear just that shift too in your family. For you, what is, if you can think about like a favorite, like a specific memory of one of those mornings with your boys, like do you remember like a specific morning, or maybe something you gave them, or something that was like a special time in your family?
Yeah, I think even, I don't know if maybe for the boys, Pedro's kind of like me. He's not very, you know, he doesn't share a whole lot. But Alexis is, and I know that he remembers this too. And for me, Alexis 2 years, I think he was in second grade, maybe third grade, and he wrote a story about, because they had to write in school a story about how they would like to celebrate Christmas. And he basically said the same thing that we do, but that he wanted it to be with snow. He wanted a Christmas with snow.
Alexis said this?
Yeah. Oh. And so in his story, he wrote his story, and he wrote the same, you know, that we would have the hot chocolate, you know, in the morning, and that we would read the story. But there was snow. He wanted it to snow in Rialto, which is where we lived.
Which wasn't going to happen.
No. So he wanted it to snow in Rialto. And so when they were, like about 2-3 years after that, we were able to go to Lake Tahoe and spend Christmas. So we had a week in Lake Tahoe, and we spent Christmas there. And so we had snow, and we were able to get up that morning, and we had a chimney. You know, we had the fire going, and we had hot chocolate, and we read the story, and we got, you know, they got their gifts and stuff, but I think it was just really memorable because we were, you know, in the snow. Yeah. In the snow. And so, and I think especially for them, because it was funny, because like right after, you know, they opened the gifts, almost every other year, they want to play with their gifts or whatever. But this year, because we were in the snow, after they opened their gifts, and they were, you know, they were excited, and they're like, whatever, but they wanted to go out and play in the snow,
Yeah.
which they got to do. So
Yeah.
that was fun.
That's
That was
super
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
Alexi still talks about that Christmas, which
See?
is so cool. Like I know that story just through him because that was like such a memorable
Yes.
year.
Yes.
Which is super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like such a special time, and it's cool that you still did all your normal Christmas morning traditions. You just brought it to the snow, which is super fun.
Yeah.
That's good. My next question for you, if you can think of any things, what are some fun and practical ways for moms that are listening to start traditions with their own families? And it could be small things even. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, to me, like, again, I'm not savvy like that. It was Jesus who gave me an idea. So, because we didn't, just like after a few years, for me, what happened is that the boys were so excited that they were going to have, that Christmas casserole.
Yeah.
It was some kind of egg, but in a different way. It was in a pie, or it was like potatoes and stuff, but it was baked. And so, because I know even like now a couple of times Pedro will say, and I love that he'll say, oh, I always look forward to, the Christmas casserole. And I always tried to find something different.
Yeah.
So it could be, and I think just as you watch your kids grow and you see the things that they enjoy or that they look forward to, that you can just make sure that you keep doing that for them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's great. Something as simple as a Christmas casserole. Growing up, we did cinnamon rolls on Christmas morning. And one year, I think in high school, my mom didn't make them for some reason. She got Danishes or some pastries or something else. And all of us were like, where's the cinnamon rolls?
Yes.
Where it's like we could buy or have cinnamon rolls at any point in the year, but Christmas morning, we're like, no, like we need the cinnamon rolls or we need the breakfast casserole, where that's something you could make at any point, but just the significance of that tradition makes it special. So that's good. I love even hearing, like you said about the hot chocolate. We haven't done that with we've only had one Christmas with our three, but I like that idea of like just sipping your hot chocolate while you're listening to the Christmas story before. So maybe we'll try to do that this year for Christmas morning. I like that.
Well, for sure, kids always like that.
Oh yeah, I know my kids will
hot
love
chocolate,
that.
Marshmallows.
Yeah, well, we already do like our food tradition. And usually I'll do eggs or something with it, but we make homemade donuts on Christmas morning. And Alexis and I have done that since we got married. So
oh, that's right.
yeah,
That's right. I remember you saying
every
that,
Christmas morning we'll do donuts. So I need to find a recipe to figure out what we're doing this year. But the kids get to help in that process, and then we eat our donuts and then read the story and do presents and all of that. So that's fun. In looking back and thinking about your time as when you were a younger mom and had little ones, what is something that you wish you could tell yourself as a young mom in the holiday craziness? Yeah. Like, what's something you wish you could tell yourself?
I think to sit back and just watch them, and enjoy it, and don't worry, because I was always about like, ooh, don't make a mess, don't throw this over there. Oh, that's out of place. Let me go put it away. I was too busy, and I do. There's a lot of things I do remember just sitting and watching the boys and just enjoying that, but I feel like I didn't do enough of that,
Yeah.
So I just wish that I could have done that more. The stuff is always going to be there.
Yeah.
So don't worry about all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Just enjoy your kids.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. That's a good reminder to me.
Yeah.
I think that I can easily get caught up in making sure everything's put away, and there's times where I just have to like tell myself, I'm like, just sit down. There's always going to be more dishes to do or more laundry to fold or more, but don't miss those moments with your family.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think we all run into that, but we do have to keep reminding ourselves to just sit back and enjoy it, because they're not always going to be there. And this time, whatever time period you're in, this time is not, because next time will be different, and their reaction will be different, and even their attitude will be different for sure. You know, so you just need to, we do, you know, and I think we have to continually remind ourselves, just chillax.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good reminder. Okay, so my next question for you, now that you have grandchildren, my little ones, just in this next season of your life, what are some things you're looking forward to during the holiday season with your grandchildren?
Well, it's funny that you asked me, because I know that I keep telling Dad, and I really, really want to do this, but I know I have to wait because Jemima is still so little. But I want us to have a tradition of just taking her to watch the Nutcracker every year.
Oh.
You know, like just the three of us.
Yeah.
Just the three of us to do that. And I'm trying to think of something with the boys, although, you know, we've thought of something for the boys in the summers that we want to do, just like the four of us.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of, like, okay, at Christmas time, and then I'm like, okay, so do we include the boys in this, you know? But I'm like, no, that should be a, you know,
a special thing with
Jemima.
Yeah.
You know, so I'll have to think of something, I don't know, to do with the boys.
Yeah.
Maybe even like a bike ride.
Yeah.
You know, I think that would be fun. Because as far as, I don't know, you know what I mean, like anything else, I know that we want you guys to have that Christmas morning, you know, for you. And so, you know, just to add on there anything, I don't know, you know, of course we want to have like Christmas stocking at our house for them, which we did last year. We have some this year. But just like to do a little activity to do with them through, you know, like in December, like some kind of, you know, and I think as they grow up and we know their likes, you know, that maybe we can figure things out. I just feel that they're too little, you know what I mean?
Once they get a little older, it'll be, well, I was even thinking about like making tamales this year. Like right now they're kind of too little to like really help with that. But they could help a little bit, you know, like things like that, where it's like every year at Christmas time we go to Tita's house and we help make tamales. You know, like even that would be a cool thing. Or this year, like we're getting the kids bikes for Christmas, so we could bring them to your house that afternoon. And I mean, you have a great yard for them to ride bikes. So
for sure.
So even, you know, things like that would be fun. Other than family traditions and doing different things to make memories, other than them being fun, why do you think that doing those things are just valuable for a family?
I think those things bring you together, you know what I mean? It helps you make memories and just remember, or, you know, just times, just fun time. And then also, again, I think just to remind each other that, you know, God came in this simple little person just so he can feel all the things that we have felt, go through all the struggles, you know, and just to remember that God is so gracious, you know, he loved us so much, and I think that that's the opportunity that we've been given, you know, just to come together, and to remember that, you know. I think that brings us together too, you know. I don't know, God has a purpose for everything. You know, so I definitely, just to come closer and to remind each other, you know, there's a purpose for it all. Yeah,
I love that. Yeah, because it's fun to go look at Christmas lights or sip hot chocolate or make cookies or whatever. But just like you said, it's like the main reason during the holidays that we're being brought together is Jesus and his birth. So being able to focus on that with your family is so important. Yeah, that's good. So the last question that I have for you, and this isn't related to family tradition, I just love to ask this question to every mom that I interview. for you, and you can take a minute to think about it because it's kind of a heavy question. But what is the legacy that you hope to leave for your children and your grandchildren?
I don't know. Was there for me. I could call on her.
Yeah.
She's always willing to help me no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can think of.
Yeah.
That's
it. Okay. Yeah. That's good. And it's simple, but I think for me as a mom, that's what I would want my kids to remember me for.
Yeah, no matter what, you know, or how hard it might be or ugly, you know.
Yeah.
Just want them to know, just want you to know. I'll try to help best as I can.
Yeah.
Do what I can.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, thanks for chatting. Thanks for letting me talk to you. And a little background. So my mother-in-law just stopped by to say hi, and then I said, let me just interview you real quick before you leave. So I'm thankful that she was willing to stay. So thank you for just sharing some of those things, and even just encouraging me. And I know moms that are going to be listening will be able to get more ideas and just be encouraged by the things you shared. So thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
For having me.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to check out all of the goodness from today's episode on the show notes and share this with a friend if it impacted you in any way. You can also leave a review on iTunes so other mamas can join in the movement of loving the woman inside the mother. Join our online Mommispace community every day by following us on Instagram at Mommispace, where you can interact with me, some of our past guests, ask simple or hard questions, and give your valuable input on how to make Mommispace an even more beautiful and safe place for mamas all over the world. All my love to you, Mama. You are enough.